Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for another garden update, and this is going to be the main garden here in the backyard, and I'll also be showing you a few other things on the deck and so on. So I want to warn you ahead of time that I did shoot these clips already, and I came out real early thinking I could get out here before the jets were flying around and Pat was hammering and the chickens were being quiet at the time, so I thought now's the perfect time. But as soon as I got out there, all of the chickens were noisier than normal and the jets started coming out of nowhere. So I hope you don't mind the noise and that you enjoy my little update back here. And I'll be doing more on this backyard garden because I still don't show everything that's going on there, but I show quite a bit, and you can see how it's coming along. All right, before I head out to the main garden, I thought I'll show you real quick how the blueberries are looking. I've been picking lots, filling up some mason jars and freezing some of them. I've combined them with rhubarb and currants, and have made a pie and a fermented fruit smoothie. And I'll put some pictures right here so you can see those. Pie turned out just really, really good. It was my first time creating that. I just came up with a combination on my own, so I'll probably do a recipe video down the road, make another pie. And I got to get out here today and pick more of these berries. Okay, so and then these are all my grapevines for those who are new, and they're doing great. I have to keep chopping them back just so we can walk through here. So let's head out to this main garden area, and I'll probably just walk around the peripheral and show you what's going on. So right here are some of the currants. I still have more to pick. They're kind of down in there. You can see them. They've been doing pretty good. So we just got these at the middle of the season last year. Got a few berries off of them. I got one there and then one here on this corner. And my first time growing currants and working with them, and boy, they were sure good in that pie. I loved it. The peas are doing good. I've got them growing here. I've got some here in a pot, and then again in this corner in a pot. And then if you saw my last greenhouse update, you would have seen that we've got some here in a pot. So I got to get out here and pick some more. You got to pick them every day. When you're growing peas, especially snow peas, you need to pick them every day. So I didn't pick any yesterday. I got to get out here and pick them. If you don't keep up on them, then the plant is more likely to die off quickly and you won't yield as much of a harvest. So I've been using them in stir fries. I plan on making a stir fry tonight. Last year I dehydrated up a bunch, and that's a really good option. I'll probably do some more of that this year, but so far I've been using them fresh, so in salads and in stir fries. And so tonight's going to be a stir fry. And you can see my lettuces there doing pretty good. Okay, so back over the main garden section, since I've already talked about all that. So there's the two oldest marshmallows that are in this section, or actually there's three. There's two right there, and then that one. And then if you look down here, all these that look like this, these are all baby marshmallows that just self-seeded. That's some red orac right there. I got that seed from just a really great lady that came to meet up with me at the homesteading fair, and I just recently planted those. I tried planting it before it started to grow, but I think something ate it and they just died. And then I have, you can sort of see my little tiny valerian right there. I cut it back. It's sort of getting crowded out by the garlic and the spearmint, but that one just, I don't know, it's an okay plant. I don't know why that one's so much different than the others. Good grief, the chickens are noisy. Here's some of my woolly lambs here. I'm not harvesting any of it this year because I want to make sure I get plenty of seed. I'm going to try to save. Last year I harvested a bunch as it was growing, but then I hardly got any flowers, thus I didn't get any seed to be able to put up on the store, and I'm hoping to do that. I've been working on this yarrow, cutting it back. You know, I just keep coming out here and cutting it back, trying to get it to bush out again. This is actually an old plant. The reason it isn't as bushy as it should be is there was a big kale growing right here that totally shaded it out. It was just covered up, and so it wasn't getting a lot of sun. Finally pulled that kale up because it was all going to seed anyway. But there's another pea plant here, a couple of them. They're not, for some reason, this corner doing as good, but they're still giving me peas. And my sunflowers, boy, slow as molasses, but at least they're growing. And these were all self-seeded. I didn't plant any of these. And the feverfew, of course. Now these are younger marshmallows. I actually made starts from root cuttings from the older plants. My mole plants are all going to seed. You see how fat those seeds get. So I'm going to be hopefully today coming out here and cutting this back and putting the seeds in a bag to dry so I can get some up on my store for those interested. More feverfew, more borage, more marshmallow, garlic that I just let it grow. And then this is where I've been getting most of my red clover. Now this just appeared in my garden last year, and so I've just been letting it grow. Claire is not going to be quiet. She's usually one of my more quiet birds, but when she wants attention, she just is noisy. So she's not letting me shoot this video in peace. So I'm going to hold her. You can be quiet for me? Anyway, so I've just been letting the clover grow, and obviously I'll have to cut it back a little bit to, or pull it up some so it doesn't totally take over my garden, but so many good benefits in the red clover. And I did a video of it that maybe a year, 2 years ago that I'll link to up there in the corner. Now, if you look over my whole garden, you can see borage growing everywhere. And I just let it self-seeds. I just let it grow, and when it starts crowding stuff out, then I pull it up, because there was a bunch right over here. This is corn, and I need to pull some more up. It's been kind of crowding out the corn, but I like to leave some because it helps. It's good for the soil. But I'll just pull it up and then throw it down on the ground and cut the flowers off so I can save the seeds. And you can see, every time the borage starts blooming, the bees come out. So if I put you down, you're going to be quiet now? Okay, maybe she'll be quiet now. She got tired of being held. I got a couple of random tomato plants I stuck out here because I'm always experimenting with the tomatoes to see if I can find places they will grow happily outside. Most of the tomatillos you see have been self-seeded. I didn't plant any of these. I did move some of them around after they started growing, but none of them were started from seed indoors or anything like that. They were just from seed from last year, so they're doing really good. Peas and beans have been taken off pretty good here. You can see lots of... I'm sorry that Claire is being obnoxious. Usually it's Minnie Pearl. Today it's Claire. Anyway, so these are runner beans. The red is the scarlet runner, and the peach color is called the sunset runner. And so I try to mix them up so there's both kinds growing in there because it adds more color, but the beans themselves are very similar. The beans might have a slightly different color to them, but they're not a whole lot different from each other in flavor and appearance. So more peas. I decided to mix the peas and beans in together instead of having them separate. Just because the peas typically will grow up faster and then the beans will follow suit. And so that way I always have, instead of having a patch that turns dead or that's bare, I always have something green along here. And so in about another month, this is just going to be covered up. This should just be covered up in green beans and everything else. So right here, this section of borage, in fact, this is the tallest I've ever seen my borage get. And it's not quite 5 feet yet because I'm pretty sure it's not as tall as I am, but it's at least over 4 feet. And I've never seen it get quite that tall, usually 3 feet. So I'll be thinning this out because I got, a poor little golden oregano down here struggling. And Echinacea that I started this year that's trying to survive, and it's getting too shaded out. So random potato that came up this year. Anyway, I'm going to be thinning all this out. I just wanted to, today, I wanted you to see it before I did that. And then I'll be, taking the seeds, because some of these should already have seed in them. And the seeds are green right now, but they will turn black. And so I need to get those out. And then I put the seed up on the store. I tend to sell out of borage seed pretty quickly. This is the Anacisip. It's starting, just notice, it's starting to get flowers. Love this stuff. It just has it's sweet and tastes like licorice. Makes it just absolute delicious tea. Love it so much. Every once in a while, Claire! Every once in a while, I don't even mind adding it to salad. It adds a unique flavor to the salads. So again, I need to come back here and thin some stuff back. Standard nasturtium has finally started growing. Again, it's something else that's really behind. And typically I'll get a ton of them coming up from, self-seeding. But wow, this year just crazy. But anyway, it's covering up one of my golden oreganos, so I got to get out here. I did just harvest a bunch off here too, but I need to get back out here and thin out this borage and kind of move some stuff around. Oh, and that's another anise hyssop. Oh, let's see, echinacea there, getting ready to flower, getting ready to bloom. And oh, this is a carrot that just must have been from a carrot scrap, and I decided to leave it so I can save the seeds off that. And there's an echinacea there. I don't know if you can see the difference between that and the borage. So this borage all has to be thinned out because it's starting to cover up my echinacea. Once that borage starts growing, it grows fast, like super fast. In fact, I had a whole bunch more coming up right in here amongst my catnip that I had to pull out. And now I see already I have to pull out more. The great thing about borage, though, is it pulls up super easy. In fact, this is one of the reasons why I was going to wait. I've showed it before in my borage video, but you can just, it has very short tap roots. Sometimes they're fat. A lot of times they tend to be fat. On your bigger plants, they're going to be fat, but very short, and they pull up right out of the ground. And you can throw the whole plant down and let it just feed your garden, or you can throw it to your chickens. Your chickens will eat those leaves and flowers. They tend to like those quite a bit. But I'm cutting all the flower parts off now because some of them are going to be viable seed here soon. But yes, it pulls up really easy. In fact, let me do another one, see if I can get a hold of another bigger one over here. Let's see if I can get this one here next to this echinacea. Here we go. It doesn't take much. See that? Just very short roots, and these aren't even fat roots. They're kind of skinny. But either way, it still pulls up really super easy. And there's my dwarf nasturtium. You probably saw that in the first pass. Boy, I tell you, this has been crazy. It was super duper quiet when I walked out here. I was coming out here early to shoot this because I figured, okay, it's quiet. Patrick's not up on the roof yet hammering. There's no jets. The chickens are being quiet, and wouldn't you know, jets come out of nowhere. The chickens all decide to be noisy, so I'm sorry about all the racket. Anyway, so the potatoes here are not doing great. I mean, they should be ready to harvest now, and they're just not doing great. And it's not because of the borage, because that only recently, just this past week, got that huge. Like I said, I was starting to say the potatoes, I've tried growing them out here in this main section before. They just don't like it as much. They like it along the edge, but not out here, even when there's nothing tall growing around them. And they like it out there in the squash patch. And in the front yard is their very favorite place. So they love it out there. And so today, that's the other thing I'm hoping to get done, is get out there and start harvesting potatoes from the front yard section so that I can clear out some areas for to transplant my amaranth and a few other things. So, oh, by the way, there's lavender. See, I walk around and I can look right at stuff and miss it because, well, I see it all the time. But yeah, the corn has only recently just really started to do good. You can see some pretty good sized ones right there. But, I mean, compared to the others. But still a little behind, but it'll be fine. The weather will be, we're past the 4th of July, which means the weather's going to be warming up here. I wanted to take a look at this lavender. This one was my first to really bloom, and the reason it looks kind of sparse on flowers is because I cut a whole bunch of them off to dehydrate and to start my floral vinegar. So that's the only reason I'm making a pass around here again in case there's anything I missed. This mojito mint all along here going berserk. It loves it here more than it does in the West Herb garden. And then the catnip, I wanted to say, the other thing is that you see more flowers out front because I'm trying to let the flowers grow out here while using this area to harvest the flowers and the leaves for dehydrating to use in my medicinal tinctures, my pain tincture or extract, as I do extracts now. Look at there. And I will link to the video in the upper corner there on borage and the health benefits of it and why I grow it. It's more than just being good for you, but it's good for your garden and it's good for the bees. Look at this. The bees love it. And so whenever the borage once the borage starts blooming, then the honeybees, that's when I finally get the honeybees. I'll have the bumblebees before the honeybees, but once the borage blooms, then I've got honeybees everywhere. All right, well, that's my garden update for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.